Today we will proceed to a bit of important topic, that is reactions of carbohydrates and the derivatives. Okay, so proceeding. First reaction, first test, that is Benedict's test. Benedict's test is to determine the reducing property of any carbohydrates. Okay, so what do you mean by reducing property? So any compound having the property of reducing another compound, okay, and it itself getting oxidized. So here see, sugar, any reducing sugar will be converted into an intermediary component, that is enediol. Here we can see the glucose and fructose both form the same enediol, 1,2-enediol. What is enediol? It is the change of double bond. Okay, in glucose and fructose, double bond was with oxygen. In enediol, it is within two carbon molecules. Okay, within 1 and 2 in case of glucose and fructose enediol. So in alkaline medium, reducing sugars tend to convert it into enediol components. Okay, and this enediol component, it is highly reducing. So it will reduce cuprous to cupric to cuprous. Okay, so this will produce a red colored compound, and it will be the indicator of presence of reducing sugar. Are you getting it? If in a solution any reducing sugar or reducing carbohydrate is present, it will be converted into enediol in presence of alkaline medium, in presence of alkali, and that will help in reduction of copper ion, right? And finally a cuprous oxide will be produced. Okay, and that will be in red in color. It is the indicator. So this color indicator will suggest the presence of reducing sugar. So this test is known as Benedict's test. Okay. So in presence of alkali, reducing sugars are converted to powerful reducing compounds known as enediols. They reduce the cupric ions to cuprous ion, and insoluble red copper oxide is produced. Clear? See, this is the color change. Here the Benedict's reagent containing copper sulfate will be of blue in color, and on consecutive heating it will be changed to red to brick red precipitate of cuprous oxide. Okay, right? This is the original picture of how color changes according to the concentration of reducing sugar present in the solution. Now, it is used for detection of glucose in urine. It is a bedside method to detect whether there is glucose or any reducing substance present in urine or not. Okay. Next, in case of diabetes mellitus, it will be a bedside test, and any reducing sugar that is having a free aldehyde or a free keto group will be reacting in this test. Not only specific for glucose, all the reducing sugar. So the reducing property comes from the functional group. Can you say it from this structure? The functional group in glucose, aldehyde group. In fructose, keto group. They are involved in formation of enediol. Without presence of this functional groups, this enediol will not be formed. Right? This interchange of double bond between oxygen and carbon dioxide, carbon to carbon change will not happen if there is no functional group present in the monosaccharide or the carbohydrate. Okay, so this is not specific for glucose, but this is to differentiate reducing and non-reducing carbohydrates. Okay, so all the carbohydrates like glucose, fructose, galactose they will give positive Benedicts. Lactose, maltose, will they give positive Benedict? They are disaccharides, lactose, maltose, sucrose. So all of them will give Benedicts positive or not? Sucrose will not give Benedict's positive because both the functional groups of glucose and fructose are used in formation of glycosidic bond when forming sucrose. Okay. In case of starch hydrolysis, very small number of reducing sugar moieties will be formed. Thus, starch will give very lesser positive in Benedict's. Okay. Now, there are few non-carbohydrates that also give positive in Benedict's test. That is high uric acid and ketone body concentration. Homogentisic acid, presence of homogentisic acid will also give rise to a dark color. Vitamin C and certain drugs like aspirin, cephalosporins, compounds like glutathione, salicylate, glucuronide, all these may give positive, that is false positive, not reducing, not positive for reducing carbohydrates, but they themselves, they give the positive Benedict test. Okay, so presence of vitamin C in urine or these drugs in urine may give the false positive for reducing sugar. Next, glucose oxidase test. This is the confirmatory test to detect glucose. Glucose oxidase test is the confirmatory test. Benedict's test was to differentiate between reducing and non-reducing. The only non-reducing we know till now is sucrose. So in case of detection of glucose, glucose oxidase test is the confirmatory test. What happens in presence of glucose oxidase enzyme, glucose is converted to gluconolactone and hydrogen peroxide. This hydrogen peroxide will react with a colorless dye to produce a colored dye. Okay, so this dye again, it is an indicator for the presence of glucose. If glucose is present, it will give rise to H2O2 in presence of glucose oxidase that will react with the colorless dye to produce a colored dye. Clear? So this glucose oxidase test used in urine dipstick method. Urine dipstick method, it is a paper embedded with the colorless dye. When it comes in contact with urine, if glucose is present, that glucose will react with the strip, the oxidase and the dye, and it will give rise to a color. Okay, now see, for compounds like vitamin C and aspirin, they utilize the hydrogen peroxide produced from the reaction. Okay, so here also what will happen? They will utilize the H2O2. Vitamin C and aspirin like drugs, they will use the H2O2 produced in the reaction, and due to lack of H2O2, the reaction will be negative. Which reaction will be negative? The color change of the dye will not be happening. Okay. Now see, this is a indicator strip, urine dipstick. All the abnormal parameters, all the test reagents for abnormal parameter of urine, they are placed in this manner, and if you dip it in the urine sample, it will give a color accordingly. Okay. Now, the second reaction or the another reaction, important reaction is Osazone formation. Osazone formation is to determine the individual monosaccharides or carbohydrates. Not only monosaccharide, disaccharides also give Osazone reaction. So what happens here? Phenylhydrazine reacts with the functional group and they produce the Osazone structures. Okay. Here, this is the phenylhydrazine compound. It will react with carbon 1 and 2 according to the presence of functional group. Okay. So, for glucose and mannose, what is mannose? C2 epimer of glucose. And see, if it was not mannose, if it was fructose, here the functional group was will be at carbon 2. So in case of glucose, mannose and fructose, when the phenylhydrazine reacts with them, they will produce a common D-osazone. Okay, the D-osazone where the only carbon 1 and carbon 2 will be occupied. So they will produce similar crystals, Osazone crystals, like this, needle-shaped crystals, glucosazone, mannosazone and fructosazone. They all look similar. Okay. Needle-like. In case of lactosazone, it will be like hedgehog or pincushion type. Next, maltosazone will be of sunflower shaped. So these osazone reaction is done to determine individual carbohydrates after separation. Okay, we are proceeding to separation, how to identify and unknown carbohydrate from a given solution. Okay, now Molish test. Molish test is to determine the presence of carbohydrate. All carbohydrates will give Molish positive. Okay, this is not required in details, but just to know what is the role of Molish test. So in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, the carbohydrates, they will be forming furfural compounds. Okay, and again they condense with alpha naphthol to form a colored compound. So we will get a colored product. But here is a thing, the minimum number of carbon in a monosaccharide or in any carbohydrate required is at least 5 carbon. Okay, so glyceraldehyde will not give positive in Molish. So this is the positive Molish, how this looks. And another similar reaction we will find in abnormal constituent of urine test, that is Rothera's test. Rothera's will also look like this. There will be the same purple colored ring. Okay. Now Fellings. Fellings is similar principle as Benedict's, also to determine whether it is reducing or not. Okay. Barfoids. Barfoids are to differentiate between monosaccharides and disaccharides. So monosaccharides, what happens? This is also the same principle of Benedict's and Fellings. The reducing property is seen, but what happens? It is in the acidic medium. In Benedict's and Fellings, it was happening in alkaline medium. In Barfoid, the test medium is acidic. Now, here monosaccharides react faster than disaccharide. That is how we can easily differentiate, or we can easily separate monosaccharides from disaccharides. So, you just write the name of the test and what is the main use of that test. Now, this is how it looks in Barfoid positive. Okay. Next comes Selivanov test. Selivanov's test is very important because it is the only test to differentiate ketos from aldose, keto sugars from aldose sugars. So, ketohexoses like fructose, here we treat them with HCl to form a hydroxymethyl furfural. Okay, and then they are treated with resorcinol to give a colored compound. See, this is the fructose in presence of concentrated HCl. A condensation reaction is occurring here to form a furfural ring. Okay, and if we treat it with resorcinol, it will give a cherry red colored compound. So all the test for identification of carbohydrate gives a particular color. So from that color, we can assess whether the compound we are looking for is present or not. Right? So till now all the tests, Molish to identify whether it is carbohydrate or not, then Barfoid to differentiate between monosaccharide and disaccharide, then Benedict's Fellings to differentiate between reducing or non-reducing. Next step will be osazone formation reaction, not that. Before that, in reducing, we can again differentiate it by whether it is monosaccharide or disaccharide by Barfoid. If monosaccharide, then by Selivanov, whether it is ketose or aldose. Next step will be formation of osazone, and then we can see and appreciate whether it is glucose or fructose or galactose or lactose, whatever it is, right? So this is the chart. Most common carbohydrates and their reactivity. So Molish will be positive in all the carbohydrates. Iodine will only be positive for starch. So to differentiate a polysaccharide, we can test it with iodine and starch can be easily detected. Next comes the Benedict's. For Benedict, it will be positive in all the glucose, fructose, lactose, maltose. In case of sucrose, Initially it will be negative. In case of starch also it will be negative. Taito? But after acid hydrolysis, what is acid hydrolysis or hydrolysis? After breaking down in presence of water. So if we break sucrose in presence of water, what will be the monosaccharides found? Glucose and fructose. So individually glucose and fructose, they give positive Benedicts. So initially sucrose, if treated with Benedict reagent, will not give positive. But after hydrolysis, then it may give positive Benedicts. Similar for starch. Starch is a polysaccharide made up of glucose. So if we hydrolyze starch, single moieties of glucose will be separated and it will give positive Benedicts. Clear? Next comes the Barfoid. Barfoids will be positive for monosaccharides. Here glucose and fructose. And Selivanovs will be positive only for fructose, and in case of sucrose, after acid hydrolysis. This one only after acid hydrolysis. Okay? Is it clear to everyone? Now, here is the flow chart. How to differentiate individual carbohydrates. What I told you, unknown carbohydrate solution or unknown solution. By Molish test, we will determine whether it is carbohydrate or not. Okay, it is carbohydrate. A Molish test giving violet ring. Now we will perform iodine test to differentiate whether it is polysaccharide, starch or monosaccharide or disaccharide. Deep blue color in case of iodine will be positive in case of starch. Okay, so if it comes deep blue, we will perform Benedict's test. There will be no red color. But after acid hydrolysis, there will be red precipitate. Okay, so we may say this is starch, right? Because other than starch, nothing will give iodine positive. Next, if there is no color change in iodine test, we will look for reducing property. So by Benedict's, we can differentiate reducing and non-reducing. So all other monosaccharide and disaccharides, they come under reducing group. Only sucrose is non-reducing. So the only molecule that will be giving negative will be sucrose. Taito. If there is no red color in Benedict's, it will indicate presence of sucrose. Sucrose is the non-reducing sugar. Now, we will run the Benedict test after hydrolyzing the sample. Then it may give red precipitate. Now we can say it is sucrose. Acha, if it gives red in Benedict's initially, then it may be reducing. So now we have to differentiate whether it is monosaccharide or disaccharide. So we have to run Barfoid's test. Right? So in Barfoid, if floating red precipitates are found, they are monosaccharide. If no floating precipitate found, they are disaccharides. So all the disaccharides, remember mannose is needle shaped, lactosazone is, in case of osazone reaction, mannosazone is needle shaped, lactosazone is pincushion, and what was the other one? Maltosazone, that is sunflower crystal like, sunflower like. So we can differentiate them from osazone test, right? বোঝা যাচ্ছে কি কিছু? Last bench. Is it clear how to differentiate individual carbohydrates? So lactose will form cotton ball, sunflower crystal will be seen in maltose. In case of positive Barfoids, we have to differentiate whether this monosaccharide is aldose or ketose. Monosaccharides are of two types, aldose and ketose. So Selivanovs will give positive for ketones. So if cherry red color is found, fructose is confirmed, but we have to confirm it again by osazone test. So we will see needle shaped crystals. If no cherry red color is found, then we will say it might be glucose. Okay. So here after osazone, we will again find the needle shaped. So both for glucose and fructose, we will get needle shaped crystals in osazone test. So before proceeding to osazone, we have to differentiate by Selivanov whether it is keto sugar or aldo sugar. Clear? So all the reactions and their application is clear. Okay, next comes the oxidation reaction of glucose. So glucose is a polyhydroxyaldehyde. So among all the groups, the free two ends are containing, one is containing aldehyde group, another is containing an hydroxyl group. C1 is containing aldehyde group and C6 is containing hydroxyl group. So there is a chance of oxidation of these two groups. Okay. So when C1 is oxidized, it will produce gluconic acid. Gluconic acid. Oxidation occurs at the ends, okay, free ends. So what will happen? The aldehyde may get converted into acid, and this is done by mild oxidation. This is done by mild oxidation. Aldehyde is more prone to get oxidized. Okay, so in presence of bromine and hydrolysis, so we can get this gluconic acid. Next comes the glucuronic acid. Glucuronic acid, it is produced by what? Glucose oxidase, enzymatic oxidation. Okay, enzymatic oxidation will produce glucuronic acid. So here the C6 will be converted into acid group. By strong oxidation, by strong oxidating agent, both the groups will be converted into acid groups, and this is known as glucosaccharic acid. Among all these three, glucuronic acid, it is very important in our body because it helps in conjugation of insoluble molecules and their transport. Okay, that may help in detoxification, right? And also glucuronic acid helps in conjugation of bilirubin. Unconjugated bilirubins are further conjugated by glucuronic acid and they become soluble bilirubin. Okay, clear? So the oxidation of glucose is as such. Now reduction of glucose itself. So reduction, which group can get reduced? Again the functional group C1 or C2 in case of fructose, whatever the functional group it is, aldehyde or ketone, it may get reduced to alcohol, that is OH group. It will produce, for glucose it will produce sorbitol. For fructose it will form sorbitol and mannitol. Mannose will form mannitol. So how I am saying all these things? See, if this changes to, this aldehyde group changes to alcohol, it will form a structure like this. Clear? C1 having aldehyde group is now converted to C1 alcohol group. So this compound is known as sorbitol. And fructose, if in C2 it gets reduced to OH group, it will again form sorbitol. Like, right? Now see, here in C2 group, the position of OH may vary. If it is on the right hand side, it will become sorbitol. If it is on the left hand side, it will become mannitol. What is the structure of mannose? What is mannose? Again I am asking, what is mannose? C2 epimer of glucose. So C2 epimer of glucose, mannose having aldehyde group here. If this is reduced, it will be mannitol. Mannose, this structure, mannitol, only changes here. So mannitol is formed from both mannose and fructose. Sorbitol is formed from both glucose and fructose. Right? Now, what is the significance? This alcohol compounds, they have a higher osmotic effect. Okay, so they tend to absorb or retain the water. All the reduction products, that is sorbitol, mannitol, dalcitol is the reduction product of galactose. Okay, so they have osmotic effect. They have a higher osmotic effect on body and they tend to accumulate water with them. Okay, so in case of increased intracranial tension, we use mannitol to reduce it. If we give mannitol injection in case of intracranial pressure rise, it will help in removal of excess water from brain, thus reducing the intracranial pressure. That is the use of mannitol. Sorbitol and dulcitol, they are used for identification of bacterial colonies. You will learn in your next year classes. Okay. If sorbitol is accumulated in tissues in abnormal amount, they may produce a change. Okay, and what kind of change? If it is accumulated in our lens, it will collect water and there will be an opacity forming cataract. Okay, now this property, this higher osmotic effect property is used in osmotic laxatives. What is laxative? Stool softeners. Okay, so the property of osmotic agents, they are used for the laxative property. Okay, the example is lactulose and sorbitol. Sorbitol is natural, lactulose is artificial. It is artificially produced disaccharide. Okay, here galactose and fructose. So it is the glycosidic bond is beta glycosidic bond. Can you appreciate beta? OH is above the plane. That is why this glycosidic bond is like this. Okay, so beta galactopyranose and fructofuranose. Okay, so lactulose I will come again. Now come to glycosides. What is glycoside? When the anomeric carbon containing the OH group reacts with another compound and they form a product, it is known as glycosides. Okay, we know about the glycosidic bonds. Glycosidic bonds are made on the anomeric carbon. So what is anomeric carbon for glucose? C1. For fructose? C2. Okay, so here this is the reaction. Suppose this is the anomeric carbon and this is another compound. So a bond will be formed by oxygen. This is known as the glycosidic bond mainly. Here it may be carbohydrate, may be non-carbohydrate. Non-carbohydrate moieties are known as okay, and they can be phenol, sterol, glycerol, methanol, anything. Any protein can also get bound to carbohydrate moieties to form glycoprotein by glycosidic bond, and that bond can be of two types, or not always mediated by oxygen. It can be mediated by nitrogen also. So glycosidic bonds in case of glycoproteins can be of two types, N-linked or O-linked. So here it is a normal example of glycoside. Okay, glycoside derivative of glucose. Here a methyl group is attached in replace of hydrogen. তাই তো এটা থাকার কথা ছিল হাইড্রোজেন, তাহলে এটা একটা নরমাল ডি গ্লুকোপাইরানোজ আলফা ডি গ্লুকোপাইরানোজ হতো, বাট হিয়ার দ্য H group is transferred by methyl group. So the name is methyl alpha D glucopyranoside. Clear? This is a glycoside. Here it is methyl beta. It was alpha, it is beta. Okay. Now see. The N-glycosidic bond, a sugar molecule getting attached to a protein with its nitrogen will be forming N-glycosidic bond. In case of another protein having OH group, this bond will be O-glycosidic bond. ঠিক আছে? What are the biomedically important glycosides? A small short note may come. on glycosides. Okay, so cardiac glycosides are there, digoxin, digitoxin. They are used in cardiac insufficiency. What do you mean by insufficiency? Inability to contract. Inability to contraction of the cardiac muscles. Okay, now they stimulate cardiac muscle contraction and they contain steroids as aglycone component. বোঝা গেছে? Another glycoside, OABIN, that is used as sodium pump inhibitor. Doxorubicin used as chemotherapeutic agent. Okay, so you have to study in your book. There will be many more examples. I'm just naming few. Okay, streptomycin, we all know, given in tuberculosis as antibiotic. It is also a glycoside. Okay, next, glycosides হয়ে গেছে. We will come to glycoproteins later. Next is formation of esters. Okay, so what are the esters can be formed? Acid plus alcohol is normal, but in case of glucose, the major esters are phosphate esters. Okay, what are the common examples? Glucose 6-phosphate, glucose 1-phosphate, and where the phosphate comes from? From ATP. So, how does it look? If the ester formation is in carbon 1, it is glucose 1-phosphate. If the ester is in C6 carbon, it is glucose 6-phosphate. Phosphate will be attached to the glucose molecule again by the oxygen, right? What is the biological importance of these phosphate esters? First of all, glucose 6-phosphate and glucose 1-phosphate, they are intermediary products in glucose metabolism. Various glucose metabolism pathway, they have the common glucose 6-phosphate and glucose 1-phosphate intermediary. But the most important one is ribose 3-phosphate, ribose 5-phosphate, deoxyribose 3-phosphate, deoxyribose 5-phosphate. Right? So this is the structure of a deoxyribose phosphate. So here, in the 5' end, the phosphate group is attached. What is the other carbon where another phosphate will get bound? 3'. So 3', because here is a free OH group. This OH group will help in formation of another ester, phosphate ester bond, and it will elongate the chain. That is why the DNA or RNA, in case of DNA and RNA synthesis, the chain elongates from 5' to 3', right? 5' is fixed, the 3' is free. So, in the 3' end, new phosphate will get bound. Clear? Next, amino sugars. Now we are talking about the derivatives. Taito? Glycosides, they are derivatives. Esters, derivatives. Amino sugars, derivatives. What is amino sugar? If any hydroxyl group is exchanged by amino group, it will be known as amino sugar. Or any carbohydrate containing amino group in replace of hydroxyl group will be known as amino sugar. Here, see, what is this structure? If this amino group is not present and OH group is present, what is this? Glucose, normal glucose. It is after the exchange of amino group, it is 2-amino D-glucose. Taito? This is also known as glucosamine. Okay, so the structure of glucosamine is replacement of carbon 2OH with an amino group. So this will come again in your next class when we will discuss the polysaccharides, mainly the mucopolysaccharides. Mucopolysaccharides are made up of amino sugars and acids, sugar acids. Okay, so in case of amino sugars, they mainly vary between glucosamine and galactosamine. Taito? So this is the structure of glucosamine. Thik ache? Here is another amino sugar, that is N-acetyl glucosamine. See, if in this glucosamine we add an acetyl group, that is CH3CO group, so it will become N-acetyl glucosamine. Okay, so N-acetyl glucosamine is also another amino sugar used in formation of mucopolysaccharides. That is why these two structures are very, very important. These two structures, okay. So in case of glucosamine, they are found in hyaluronic acid, heparin and other blood group substances, galactosamine in chondroitin sulfate, manosamine in various glycoproteins, N-acetyl glucosamine and N-acetyl galactosamine, they are also part of various glycoproteins and mucopolysaccharides. Clear? Okay. Now deoxy sugars. Deoxy sugars means removal of oxygen from any hydroxyl group. This structure is a L form. Can you say why? This is L-fucose or 6-deoxy L-galactose. Why? The penultimate, in the penultimate carbon, the OH is on the left hand side. That is why this structure is L structure. And from the normal structure, if it is CH2OH, not CH3, CH2OH, what will this be? L-galactose. Now in case of this structure, the oxygen is absent here. তাই তো OH group নেই এখানে দেখ, galactose এর OH group টা এখানে নেই, that is becoming 6-deoxy L-galactose. Here also in case of mannose, it is also L form and this is also 6-deoxy L-mannose, naming L-rhamnose. So all these deoxy sugars or the examples I am giving, they are part of various glycoproteins. Okay, so during formation of glycoproteins, this changes may occur. And another deoxy sugar important is deoxyribose. No need to say it again. So here the deoxy part is from carbon 2, 2-deoxyribose. This is ribose and it is 2-deoxyribose. Now, so all the reactions and derivatives are done. Now we will proceed to few important disaccharides. Okay, so among them sucrose. Sucrose is a disaccharide made up of glucose and fructose. But here is the important thing, that is the glycosidic bond. Glycosidic bond. Here this glucose is in which form? Which anomeric form? Alpha. And can you appreciate this as fructose? How? So generally we see the carbon 1 on right hand side, but here as the bond is formed between carbon 1 of glucose and carbon 2 of fructose, they are facing to each other. Okay, now here it is a fructofuranose structure. Taito, anomeric carbon is carbon 2, so carbon 1 of glucose and carbon 2 of fructose is making the glycosidic bond. Both are in alpha anomeric form. Taito, in case of fructose also, the OH or CH2, oh no, sorry, this is in the, how to differentiate? If the OH or CH2H, in case of fructose, there will be no OH group, there will be CH2H. So here, it doesn't matter whether fructose is in alpha form or beta form. Always it will start from the initial monosaccharide. So this will be a alpha 1,2 glycosidic bond. Alpha glucose 1,2 fructose bond. Okay? Boja gache? Why it is alpha? OH of the anomeric carbon is in the below plane. Now, it is on carbon 1. So, it is alpha glucose 1 with 2 of fructose. Carbon 2 of fructose. So, this bond will be alpha 1,2 glucose, alpha D-glucosyl 1,2 fructose glycosidic bond. Okay. And sucrose is present in fruits, various fruits. Okay, also known as the table salt, table sugar. Okay. Now, see, what happens? Hydrolysis of sucrose, the sucrose itself have the optical rotation of plus 66.5 degree. If we make a solution of sucrose, it will give optical rotation of 66.5 degree. But after hydrolysis of sucrose, what will be produced? After hydrolysis of Aimera, why are you so silent? After hydrolysis of sucrose, what will be formed? Glucose and fructose, they have their own rotation property. That will be one glucose. We have already studied yesterday the mutarotation part. The stable solution at equilibrium of glucose will show a deflection of 52.5 degree, and the optical rotation for fructose will be minus 92. Fructose is levorotatory. তাই তো পড়েছিলাম, কালকে পড়েছিলাম। Now the products will change the dextro rotation to levo rotation. Like the initial rotation was plus 66.5. Now after hydrolysis the resultant rotation will be negative. তাই তো? Which one is larger? 92. So it will, the overall net rotation will come to left hand side. This change, inversion, is known as, or make the sucrose solution as invert sugar. Okay, the term invert sugar comes from the property of inversion of rotation of optical plane from dextrorotatory to levorotatory, and that is because after hydrolysis equimolar glucose and equimolar fructose will be formed. So the resultant rotation will be negative. The what was initially plus 66.5. বোঝা গেছে? ঠিক আছে? So enzyme producing hydrolysis of sucrose is called sucrase or invertase. Honey contains invert sugar. Okay, next. Second disaccharide, that is another most important disaccharide, is lactose. Why? What is the other name of lactose? Milk sugar, and it is composed of galactose and glucose. So what is the bond? Why I said galactose first? Because galactose is the glycosidic bond forming monosaccharide here. So it is in beta formation. Taito? So beta galactosyl 1,4 glucose. Here the anomeric carbon of glucose is free. Taito? Anomeric carbon of glucose is free. This bond is between beta galactose 1 and 4 of glucose, C4 of glucose. This is a beta 1,4 glycosidic bond. This is a beta 1,4 glycosidic bond between galactose and glucose. Clear to everyone? What is the glycosidic bond nature of lactose? It is beta galactose 1,4 glucose glycosidic bond. Clear? The same thing, a beta galactose where the C1 of galactose is getting forming the bond with C4 of glucose. Now another question comes from this part, that is lactose intolerance. What happens in our gut? There is an enzyme known as lactase. So lactase helps in breakdown of the lactose into glucose and galactose. If lactase enzyme is absent in our body, so it will not break the lactose, so it will be accumulated in large intestine. Okay, lactase deficiency will lead to accumulation of lactose in large intestine. That will lead to bacterial intervention and leading to formation of 2-carbon, 3-carbon moieties and carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Okay, so this will lead to bloating. This will lead to diarrhea and dehydration. Okay, so this is lactose intolerance. People who cannot digest milk or milk products because of deficiency of lactase enzyme. So lactase enzyme helps in breakdown of lactose in our gut into glucose and galactose. If lactase is not present, it will lead to accumulation of lactose in large intestine, leading to bacterial intervention and accumulation of 2-carbon, 3-carbon moieties and carbon dioxide and hydrogen gas. Taito, leading to diarrhea, bloating and dehydration. Clear? Next, maltose. Maltose is another disaccharide. What are the components of maltose? Glucose plus glucose. So maltose is nothing but end product of starch hydrolysis by alpha amylase. Okay, starch is a polysaccharide of glucose. So after hydrolysis of starch by the enzyme amylase, such disaccharide compounds may be formed. Okay, and by further hydrolysis by maltase enzyme, maltase will act on maltose to break down maltose into 2 glucose molecules. And what is the glycosidic bond here? Alpha 1,4. Alpha 1,4. 2 glucose molecules attached by alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond. Clear? Okay. Now isomaltose. Isomaltose is a partial hydrolysis product of glycogen and starch. Why? Because glycogen and starch both contains branch chain polysaccharides. Right? Branch chain. In case of straight chain, it is always alpha 1,4. In case of branching, it becomes alpha 1,6. Here in isomaltose, it contains 2 glucose molecules, 2 glucose monomers, but they are linked via alpha 1,6. Can we appreciate alpha 1 and 6, carbon 6? In case of maltose, it was alpha 1,4. In case of isomaltose, it is alpha 1,6. Clear? Next, lactulose. It is the artificial, it is a derived disaccharide. Okay, not present naturally. So all the natural disaccharide, important disaccharides I told you about. Now come to this lactulose. Lactulose may also come as a short note. Name some use of artificial disaccharide in our day-to-day life or in therapeutic use. So the structure of lactulose, I told you, galactose and fructose linked by beta 1,4. See, this is the fructose, this is the galactose. It is beta form, right? It is beta form and it is getting attached to the C4 carbon of fructose. ठीक है? So it is forming a beta 1,4 glycosidic linkage. It is a synthetic disaccharide used as medicine for constipation and hepatic encephalopathy. Okay, so the main use is using its property of higher osmotic effect to eliminate excess water from body. ঠিক আছে? এই কয়েকটা জিনিস একটু জাস্ট একটু মন দিয়ে শুনে নে। The glycoproteins. The role of oligosaccharides, other oligosaccharides are to form glycoproteins and glycolipids other than disaccharides. Other oligosaccharides, they are part of mainly glycoproteins. So glycoproteins are molecules where oligosaccharide chains are covalently bound to protein molecule. But what is the major feature? The carbohydrate compound is less than 10% in the whole protein. Okay, so glycoprotein is very easy to appreciate that it is a combination of carbohydrate and protein, but it contains less than 10% carbohydrate, and that is on also of oligosaccharide in nature. ठीक है? Now, what are the types? O-linked glycoproteins and N-linked. I told you what are the O-linked. Where we get O-linked, where the protein moiety itself, the amino acid is containing the OH group, there it will form a O-linked glycoprotein, and in case of binding with amino group, it will form N-linked. Okay, few examples. Mucin. Mucin is O-linked. Okay, and zona pellucida glycoprotein, it is also O-linked. N-linked, they are the major class of glycoprotein. All the membrane bound and circulating glycoprotein, they are mostly N-linked. GPI linked, GPI is glycosyl phosphatidyl inositol. You will read it further in your next classes. So they act mainly as receptor, transporters, adhesion molecules. Mainly the role of glycoproteins are this only. ঠিক আছে? So the functions of glycoprotein: lubrication and protection, transport for immunological purpose, hormones, enzymes and antigen. All of them contain glycoproteins. Examples, to name few of them and their major function. Clear? Now glycolipid. Another thing is, other than glycoprotein, it is glycolipids. Glycolipids are nothing but carbohydrate moieties attached with lipid molecules. And where are they found? In the plasma membrane, cell membrane part. Okay, mainly in eukaryotic cell membrane, they extend from lipid bilayer to exterior environment. Why? For mainly adhesion and signaling purpose. ঠিক আছে? The glyco part or the carbohydrate part, they helps in cell to cell interaction or immune response. ঠিক আছে? বোঝা গেছে? Okay, ঝটপট বল, which test is used to identify reducing sugar? এক এক করে। এই last bench বলো, last bench? Yes, you. Benedict's test. Why? Why Benedict test is used to identify reducing sugar? Why not Molish? Why not Selivanov? Formation of NADIOL. Sit down. So, formation of NADIOL will further provide the reducing property of any reducing sugar. Right? So, only in Benedict's test we get the NADIOL and that will perform the reducing property. ঠিক আছে? Next question. What is the product of reaction between monosaccharide and phenylhydrazine? Phenylhydrazine and monosaccharides will react to form which product? এই তুই বল। ওসাজোনস। ওকে, রাইট? ঠিক আছে তো? নেক্সট কোথায় গেল? দাঁড়া। Which reaction of monosaccharides result in the formation of sugar alcohol such as sorbitol? Which reaction leads to production of sorbitol or sugar alcohols? Oxidation, reduction, enolization, furfural formation. বল, তোদের মধ্যে কে বলবি? তুই বল, white t-shirt. হ্যাঁ, B, reduction. So reduction leads to formation of sugar alcohols. What type of reaction joins two monosaccharides to form a disaccharide? What type of reaction joins two monosaccharides to form a disaccharide? Whether it is hydrolysis, whether it is condensation, whether glycolysis or denaturation. কে বলবে? এদিক থেকে কে বলবে? তুই বল। বল। Hydrolysis. Glycolysis. What is glycolysis? Na. Glycolysis is breakdown of glucose. Glycolysis is breakdown of glucose. So here it will be condensation reaction. Why condensation reaction? Because there is always a removal of water molecule. When formation of glycosidic bond, a molecule of water is always eliminated. বোঝা গেছে? Clear? Next, glucose on oxidation does not give glucoside, glucosaccaric acid, gluconic acid, glucuronic acid. কে বলবে? Option A, glycosides. ঠিক আছে, বাদ বাকি তিনটেই আমরা পাই on different level of oxidation. Next, sucrose is a non-reducing sugar because, এটা তো সবাই বলতে পারবি। Why sucrose is a non-reducing sugar? কে পারবি না সে বল। বল তাড়াতাড়ি, কে পারবি না? সবাই পারবে, সবাই তো হাত তোলেনি। কেন সবাই হাত তোলেনি? এই you. Option number C, its anomeric carbons are involved in the glycosidic linkage. True. That is the answer. So in case of sucrose, both the anomeric carbons are used for glucose and fructose. ঠিক আছে? And all other disaccharides we saw, it was either linked by 1,4 or 1,6. So the anomeric carbon of another molecule is always free. So they are reducing. ঠিক আছে? Which of this is not a disaccharide? Which of this is not a disaccharide? Sucrose, maltose, galactose, lactose. এটাতে তো সবার হাত তোলা উচিত। এতদিন ধরে কোনটা মনোস্যাকারাইড আর কোনটা ডাইস্যাকারাইড তো আমি বলছি, কে হাত তোলেনি? কেন হাত তোলেনি? এই চশমা পরা ছেলে বল। হ্যাঁ, গ্যালাক্টোজ। ঠিক আছে, ক্লিয়ার? কে মাল্টোজ বলেছিলি এখান থেকে?